Hello everybody, Broken Gamers back for another tutorial. This time we're doing it on the Endbringer rule. Um, Definitely a part of the game that I absolutely love, but doing tutorials absolutely hate. This is take 7 and I'm praying the final one. We're covering the no spin version of the Endbringer rule. There is another version, but I've tried them both and I have no doubt this is my favourite one and the one that's most applicable across all levels of Endbringer, and the most consistent of the rules as far as I can tell, and I've tried. So gonna definitely use this one. So what I'll cover today is the basic rule with a good bunch of examples for you, and then just two sort of adaptations of it. Elevation, how to factor that in, and if it's slightly over the distance of the rule, which I'll explain in more detail in a bit, cover that off as well. And at the end I also talk about levels of Endbringer, how this applies even if you've got an Endbringer 1. Okay, next slide. So the basic rule itself, and this may look more complicated than it is. The most technical bit is the very first bit, which you will master super quickly. It really is easy to get hold of. But basically what you need to do when your Endbringer shot first comes up is just zoom out a good amount so that you can see where you're shooting from all the way to the max of the club within one screen. Okay, so if it's a long shot, then that is quite a decent amount of zoom out, but you will get used to it. It really is easy once you've done it the first few times. Okay, and what you need to visualize is where the pin is between where the ball's landed, where you're shooting from, to max. At what percentage between there and the max is the pin? Okay, and that's then what you put in as your slider in your notebook or Clash Caddy app, and then the other bits are factual. So you put in 20% as your elevation as standard, and you add the wind from the hole, which is just on the screen, and then you just move your ball guide or your target so that the ball guide just goes nicely into the hole, not too much, not too little, and then you adjust with the figure that's on the app. Simple as that. Okay, yeah, there's a couple of variations, but that is it. That's the rule. The slight changes to that are if there is elevation. Okay, so that 20% is if it's fairly flat. Okay, all you then do is if there's a downhill or uphill, you apply the percentage that you normally would, but against that 20%. So if it's a 5% downhill, the ball's going to travel further in the air because it's taking longer to hit the ground. Then you put 5% on top of the 20% and make it 25%. Conversely, if it's 10% uphill, so the ball's going to hit the ground sooner because it's uphill, say it's 10%, then you take that away from the 20% and it would be 10%. Okay, so 20% is your normal 0. And then I'll also take you through what if it's over distance. So if you've got to the max, but it's before the pin, but the ball guide still goes into the hole. Okay, because obviously the ball guide goes onwards from the target. Don't worry if you can't visualize any of this. I'm going to take you through the examples. Okay, so I'm going to move away now from the slides to my screen, and here are some examples that I've got for you. Okay, so I've got two basic setups, and all of these, except the last one actually, all of these are high winds, not easy, crosswinds and everything like that. Okay, so I'm not showing you something that you'll suddenly experience tough conditions and you won't be able to repeat. So two simple ones in highish winds. Then we've got one with a bit of a glitch. The fourth one is where we have a bit of an elevation challenge. The fifth one is where we're over distance, as I just mentioned, so the target is before the pin. And then finally I'm going to show you how this works just as easily with an Endbringer level 1, and I even hit a great left. And with lots of times you hit a great left or a great right, then the Endbringer is still going to bring you in into the hole. Double great lefts, double great rights, maybe not, but that would be the case with any club, right? So that's fair enough. So before I take you into the videos, just going to show you a little bit more about what I meant when we have to zoom out and do the one technical bit of the Endbringer rule. So you can see here I've zoomed out so I can see where the ball's being hit from at 0%. And I've taken my guide all the way up to that red line comes across as it does in Golf Clash, just before it jumps to the next club. So if I pushed up further from this, it would go to my short iron, probably the thorn for me. And if you do jump up, that's fine, just put it back again so you're just in the Endbringer, and that's your 100%. Then what I tend to do is I try and visualize the 50%. Because I just find it easier to work from 50% up or 50% down. And you can see here that it's a bit above the 50%, so 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%. So this one is around about 60%. It might be a tad more. It doesn't matter. You just got to get fairly close. The nearest sort of 5, maybe even 10%, and you're going to be doing okay. I hope that makes sense, okay? You'll see it again in the example. So I'm going to start off with a nice straightforward one. I'm going to pause it when we get to the max level. I don't do a great job for you actually on this. Let's see if I can. No, let me come back. So right there. Okay. So on this particular one, I can see that 50% might be here, and then if I divide that again too to try and get 75%, I'd probably say that's a bit before the hole, wouldn't you? So there's 50, there's 75, so we're looking at about 80, 75 to 80% as our slider. Okay, so we'll put that in as our slider number. It's quite hard sometimes to stop the slider perfectly, and then we put in our 20%. Now we're using a katana board actually, so I need to change that to a 2. That would be set from the start, so you wouldn't need to do that when you bring up the Endbringer. And then the wind is 9.5, put that in to the app, and then you can see we've got a 7.8. Is that right? 7.8 at 75. I think it might be a bit nearer, bit over that, so let's just go, yes, let's say 77. So we're looking around about 8, just over 8 maybe for our adjustment. Okay, sorry, my slider came down to 73 then, but you probably saw it was up near at 8 for the movement. I'll try and put my cursor down, but I know on this example I'm a bit quick with the movement, so there's more to come. So I'll try and put my cursor down here. Oh yeah, I didn't do that very well, but that it was 8 rings, I promise you. I'll try and be a bit better with that in the other ones. Okay, and that goes in nice and straightforward. So I'll put my notebook back down to 0, and then hopefully I'll be a bit more slick on these ones. Okay, so just another simple example. Screen out, and then up to well, max was just a tiny bit above that. So we look at 50%, which is going to be round about here, and then we're just a little bit up from that, 10%. This is the screenshot we used when I talked about zooming out and had the 0, 50, 100%. So this is 60% pretty much on this one. So we're going to put that into our app. We've got a 20% elevation, we've got a 60% slider, and it's a 10.1 wind, so we're going to be looking at 6.7 for our adjustment. Okay, now once we've done that, we bring the guide back down, no spin whatsoever, and then we adjust. I was just checking elevation there, and then if I put my cursor at the bottom, 6.7 rings. Okay, no spin ever. Okay, no top, no bottom, no left, no right. That's what makes this so nice and easy. Okay, that's the second one. Now we're gonna move on to a slightly more glitchy and another big side wind, so not an easy hole by any means, one that you'd expect to only get half the time maybe if you were playing the game normal. So let's press play on that one. No. Okay. So zoom out. Okay, so we're much nearer the hole on this one. Okay, 90 to 95%. Okay, so it's a long one, and you've got a big side wind, 9.8 side wind. Actually, we're playing with a Titan ball now as well, so I'll just change my app quickly while I remember to a Power 3 ball. Okay, so let's try and do 90 to 95%. And the wind is 9.8. Put our 20% elevation in. So we're going to be looking at 10.2 roughly for our adjustment. Now I think you can see there's a bit of a glitchy. You see that line just popping up and popping back, so I move it more up, and just going to pause it there. So we're going to come in a little bit hot, which hopefully I'll hit perfect. I do, but the Endbringer rule can be so accurate sometimes that even if you come in a bit hot, now if we did hit a great left or great right, then you might be in a bit of trouble on this glitchy one, because it's coming in hot, it might just spin round a bit more. But you know, at the end of the day, with that glitch, I wanted to avoid it above that. Okay, so just put my cursor down the bottom here. We're looking for just over 10. There we go. I think I hit perfect on this one. I was being a bit extra careful, as you could tell. And then you see we come in a bit hot, but hit the pin dead center. So that's a lovely little one. Enjoy that one. Okay, halfway there, 3 more to go. All very different now. So we're going to play a slight elevation challenge on this one. Okay. Okay, so you saw us looking at max there. You saw the line come up. A bit like the last hole, actually. Probably going to say that's around about 95%. We're right after the hole. Trying to get 95 on the slider. Not doing so well. Yeah, there we go. And it's a 25% elevation. I think I have a look in a little bit, but it's definitely downhill a fair bit, and the wind is 7.6, so we're going to be looking at 8.5. I don't think it's quite 95% actually, so I think it's at 8.2 roughly. I'm doing these calculations after I played the actual hole, so I've had to go back and try and remember and look to see what I've done, but I think, yeah, it's slightly under 95%, I think is what I played. Okay, again, it's going through the hole quite fast, so I'm going to pause it there. This is the one time, because of the speed, and I can't change it. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. It's going to roll quick from there. still apply no side spin at all. I just apply a little bit of backspin just to try and take the edge off a little bit, but that's the only time in any of the millions of times I've used the Endbringer, I hardly ever apply any spin whatsoever, but all of that left-right spin goes, and I just apply a little bit of backspin so it's to the hole again, going through the hole, and then I do my 8, what was it, 8, let me put this down here, yeah, just over 8 rings. And there we go. Nice drop on a slightly tougher elevation hole. Okay. So penultimate one, we're going to do over distance. Okay. So I'm actually going to put this in the slider now, so I'm not doing it on there, but there is the one thing about Notebook. I think Clash Caddy you can type in the slider number. I'm not sure, but on this one you have to slide in. When you take your thumb off, it can just move up a percentage or two. Right, let's go into it for you. Okay, so you'll see quite quickly I'm over my max. Okay, so max is there. Alright, we're at our max club here, but you can see the ball guide clearly goes beyond the pin, so we can still play the Endbringer rule, but we're over max by that amount. Now I'm going to guesstimate that that's 15% over. It's going to be between, if you take this pink line and that's 0 extra and that's 20% extra, then this is going to be around about 15% extra. So what I need to do is apply 115% slider. Now the good thing about Clash Caddy, I believe, is you can go up beyond 100%. On Notebook you can't, but it's still super easy. Let me show you. So this is a normal 20% hole, but and a wind of 9.5. Have we got the right ball? It's a Titan ball, yeah. So now if you look down, so I've applied 15%. I can't do 115, so 115. So here's the 1.6 is your slider number, but the number above it is your 100%, and that's fixed. That will never change. So all 115% is adding the 10.6 to the 1.6. Now that doesn't take long. Well, I hope it doesn't take long. That's just going to be 12.2. Okay, nice and simple. So even though it doesn't go up to 120%, you just apply the smaller number, the 15%, and add it to the 100% in the app. Okay, done. Okay, so I'll just play on with the video. Again, I just put it and move the target so the hole goes in, and we're going to be playing just over 12 rings. I think it might be even a little bit more than that, because I thought it was. So I'm going to do the first bit first, which is 2, and then a full 10 rings, so just over 12 rings, and nice perfect ball, and straight down the middle again. Okay, so that's how you use the app to do anything up to 120%. When you start having to add topspin to go even further is something that isn't covered in the rule that I know. It'll just be one of those things with trial and error, where you just try and keep adding to that 120% by what you think it is proportionally, and then you use the numbers I did here. So you put 30% in on your slider and add it to the 100% number and keep going. It's just the further you go, the slightly less accurate it's going to get, but because the Endbringer rule does allow you usually to hit a bit of a great left and or small great left or small great right, it'll just be a bit more important to hit that perfect, the further out you get, which you'd expect. Right, now finally, just going to show you that this is applicable across every single Endbringer. I'm going to do a move over to my other account where I've got an Endbringer 1 on my notebook on the right, and we'll put the 20% in as standard. I think I'm using a quasar ball, so I'll put a power 1 ball. Hardly ever go over a quasar on this account. And then let's have a look at, I think I even do a great left as well on this to show you that that can still go in. So same thing here. I need to push out. Okay, it's just, there we go. So I just went 50% on this. Might be 55, I'm not sure, but it's pretty much mid. So I don't need to do anything in terms of changes to the slider on the app for this one, which is quite nice. So 99.6 wind is going to give me a 3.2. Is that right? Let me have just a quick look. 3.2. I've put the, it was a quasar ball. I put the 20% in the app. Yeah, so here we go. I haven't written 3.2 in my notes, which is why I'm a bit worried. But ball, guide to the hole, just like normal. Put my cursor at the bottom here. Yeah, that was just a fraction over 3.2, and it was potentially a fraction over 50%, so maybe that's what I was thinking. Now, great left. It does come in left, obviously, but still makes it in the hole. Okay, there you go. That's pretty much most situations covered. I hope that you can understand it from that. Please do comment below. Please do hit the subscribe button and like button. Hopefully we'll be doing some more tutorials for you soon. Cheers, guys.